Morning everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make some milk chocolate and sunflower Paris-Brests. I think these turned out pretty well, so let's get to it. So the first couple steps is going to be making the sunflower praline and halva. So I'm going to roast some sunflower seeds at 325 Fahrenheit or about 160 Celsius for about 8 to 10 minutes, and we'll see how much flavor develops from that. Next, I'm going to grind up 250 grams of the sunflower seeds with 2 grams of salt. Looks good enough. The next step is going to be heating up 190 grams of sugar with 50 grams of water. I'm going to cook this to 245 Fahrenheit. Pour it into the mixer bowl, mix until just combined with 5 grams of vanilla extract, and then pour it into this pan. Stop that just for a second. Pour in 5 grams of vanilla. Heat again. And then I'm going to spread that in the prepared loaf pan and let that cool and set. Place another square parchment on top of that and smooth it out. Then let it set completely. And that's the halva done. Next up, I'm going to make the sunflower praline. So I'm going to melt 400 grams of sugar into a dry caramel, about medium caramel stage. Looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to pour this out onto a silicone baking mat and let it cool completely. Once you can do this, it's ready. Next, I'm going to grind up 450 grams of sunflower seeds. Gradually add chunks of caramel. Add 3 grams of salt. Blend that in. Now it's very smooth as it is, and you can definitely use it at this stage, but it's not good enough for me. So, time to bring out the big guns. I'm going to pour it all into my melanger and let that run for a couple hours to get it even finer. Hardcore mode. This is completely optional, and it's mostly just about a textural thing. This will get it far smoother than the food processor can. It will also make it a little bit more fluid. Now that is smooth. And that will be for later. Day 2, we're going to make the choux. First we're going to make the crackle, which is going to be placed on top of the choux. Because this needs to freeze, I'm going to make it first. So I'm going to weigh out 75 grams of light brown sugar. And I'm going to beat that together with 60 grams of salted softened butter. Next, 75 grams of all-purpose flour with 10 grams of Dutch cocoa. Roll out the crackle into 2 millimeters and then freeze completely. Let's start measuring out our ingredients for the choux itself. 67 grams of water, 67 grams of whole milk, 5 grams of sugar, 3 grams of salt, and 55 grams of butter. I'm going to melt this over medium-high heat. Once it comes to a boil, remove it from the heat and add 75 grams of all-purpose flour. And once the mixture is boiling like that, remove from the heat, dump in all your flour at once, and then stir until no lumps remain, and then transfer back to medium heat. Cook until the mixture registers about 170, 175 Fahrenheit. Here we go. And beat on low for about a minute to cool down the mixture. Next I'm going to add 3 beaten eggs, gradually, until the proper choux consistency is reached. Perfect. Now it is recommended to rest your choux for about an hour or so, either room temperature or refrigerated, as that allows the gluten to relax and the choux will expand more evenly. Alright, So here I have a 9.5 centimeter diameter circle. I'm going to draw a pencil on the inside. Next, I'm going to draw a circle inside that with a diameter of 5 centimeters. So now, I'm going to pipe the shoe on the inside here, and these will also correspond to cutting out discs of crackling for the top of the Paris-Brest. Following the drawn templates, quickly punch out some discs matching the outer and inner diameters. Now I'm going to pop these back in the freezer for about 5 minutes just to firm up. Give them a light brush with some egg whites. Press a couple sunflower seeds into the top. Just gently pat that in. Make sure it's adhered. I'm going to bake these at 375 Fahrenheit for about 35 minutes, then turn off the oven and leave the door ajar for about 15 minutes. Still let them fully dry out. So these have come out of the oven. They look pretty good. That's halfway decent. I think we can go with that. One thing that could be improved is a better distribution of the sunflower seeds. Now I'll wait for these to cool down completely and then trim the tops off. I'm going to cut off the top third-ish. Just make sure you cut it evenly. There we go. For an extra touch-up, I'm going to use the same size cutters that we used for the crackling. Trim these guys into perfect circles. Give them a couple twists, and ta-da! Next, let's make the pastry cream base for the mousseline cream. So here I have 50 grams of egg yolks, 17 grams of cornstarch, 2 grams of salt, and 30 grams of sugar. Next, I'm going to heat 250 grams of whole milk just below the boil, and then temper the egg yolk mixture. Pour the mixture back into the saucepan, and return to medium heat, constantly whisking until thickened. Once it's thickened, you're going to continue cooking and stirring for another minute to break down any residual amylase. Amylase will break down the cornstarch. Starting to thicken. It's going to continue cooking for about a minute. Don't worry, it's been cleaned since the egg. Add a small splash of vanilla, about 5 grams, and 100 grams of chopped milk chocolate. Now blend them together once the chocolate's melted. Next, I'm going to add 100 grams of the sunflower praline paste. Blend that in and let this cool completely. Now my gut feeling tells me that I'm going to want a little bit of a fancy decoration for the top. I'm going to go ahead and quickly temper some chocolate with the seed method and spread it out here and cut discs just like I did with the crackling. Spread that tempered chocolate evenly, wait for it to set a little bit, and then punch out some discs. Now I'm going to cover them and let them set in the fridge. Alright, so we're nearly ready to finish the Paris-Brest. So we got about 450 grams of the pastry cream, but I'm going to start adding butter bit by bit, keeping track of how much I'm adding, and once I reach a good consistency, I'll stop. And then start reverse tear, adding in butter. Alright, everything should be ready to assemble. We've got the mousseline cream, we've got some more praline, we've got the halva, Paris-Brest shells. Should be most of everything at the moment. So first I'm going to cut the halva into small bits. What do you do for a hobby? Well, I dice up halva. That's good. So first, I'm going to put some sunflower praline in the center. And put some small chunks of halva along there. That should add some nice texture. Top with a little bit more praline. Decorate with the mousseline. There we go. And now, ta-da! Looks pretty good. Let's see what else we can do though. So, some more praline and halva in the center. A little bit more halva. Alright, top with some tempered chocolate. Put some star designs along here. Put a little praline along the edges. Some color contrast. Now top that. There we go. That looks pretty nice. Alright, I'm gonna finish decorating the rest, stick these in the fridge, and then cut them open and let you know how they taste. Here's the completed batch. Wait a second. There we go. Now I consider it complete. And here's what we got. Alright, buddy. You've been chosen as the sacrifice. And place them on top. The secrets they don't tell you. So you got the praline and halva down here. Got the mousseline cream. Alright, time for a taste test. Wow. So, here are my thoughts. So you initially get a great crunch from the crackling, and the main texture is going to be creamy from the mousseline cream. And then you start getting into the crackling on the bottom in addition to the crumbly halva. And it's just this incredible nutty flavor with creamy, crunchy, and crumbly textures. That's fantastic. The milk chocolate isn't quite as apparent. If I did this again, I might try doing like a milk chocolate ganache along the bottom of the ring, just to try and accentuate that milk chocolate. I think the milk chocolate helps accentuate the overall nuttiness of the sunflower praline itself. Alright, I'm gonna eat the rest of this on my fence, and maybe go for a run.